In this video, I'm going to show you how I coded a web app from scratch, step by step, using nothing but vibe coding. I was able to add a database, sign-in functions, and complex AI with zero code. This is dead simple, so if you ever wanted to learn how to build an app using AI, this is the video for you. The best part is it's 100% free using Google's new tool called Antigravity. You're not going to want to miss this, so let's jump right in. So in order to use Antigravity, all you're going to do is go to antigravity.google.com. Now, the really cool thing is that it's in a public preview and it is 100% free right now. You can use it with Gemini 3 Pro. You can use it with Claude Sonnet 4.5 and GPT OSS. I wouldn't even bother with GPT OSS. I would stick with Gemini 3 Pro and Claude Sonnet 4.5, two of the best, if not the two best coding models available right now. It also has unlimited tabs, unlimited command requests, and what they're calling generous rate limits. So not sure what they mean by that, but it's 100% free. And why pay for something like Cursor if you can have a tool that has some advantages that's 100% free? Now, they also have some really cool use cases here that they go over here. So let's start with the front end stuff. So they have a browser use that's really cool. So the agent is able to use Chrome to navigate to pages and interact with them, enabling browser in the loop testing of its own code. The agent is able to take screenshots and video of its work in the browser so that you can see the results of the work asynchronously. You are also able to leave visual comments of the visual artifacts, making it simple to provide specific targeted feedback to the agent. So what this means is that while it's coding, it's actually able to access Google Chrome. And then within Google Chrome, it can take pictures and screenshots and even video captures of what it's coding. And then you can actually leave comments live on the app to show exactly what needs to change. Now, this is a big advancement from what I've seen in the past. And as far as I know, there's no other coding agent that has this right now. So just in terms of like front end code, this is a big, big deal. Some of the other things that it highlights here is its professional use cases, an AI-powered editor, with unparalleled assistance on complex tasks, your ability to have background agents. So this is actually something that Cursor 2 just launched recently, having like multiple agents at the same time, which is pretty cool. And then it also has the ability to access large complex code bases, which is obviously a massive advantage, right? If I'm working with a big code base, this is a big plus for me for sure. A few other highlights here, agents prioritizing verification information, interacting with users through artifacts and tasks to build trust in their code, artifacts and verification, intuitively provide feedback across every surface and artifact to guide the agent from 90 to 100%, which is actually really cool. Again, sort of similar to the other feature I mentioned where you can actually do a live feedback. And then manager to editor handoff, seamlessly switch between agents and the agent manager, which is pretty cool. So let's jump right in. Let's show you how to use it. So basically, all you're going to want to do is download and install it. I'm using the recommended features of the app here. I'm not using anything else. So you can see here that you have a few different options right off the bat. You can go to the agent manager. So if I press Control E, you can see that you can actually have several agents working in parallel here. So this is pretty cool, right? I can actually run several agents here at the same time. I can code with my agent right here. You can see I have my coding agent right here, very similar to Cursor. And I can edit the code inline as well, which we'll have here as well. So aside from some of the more basic features, I kind of want to show you how this whole Chrome thing works because it's really cool. So let's jump right in. Let's start building our own project here. So I actually started this in a different tab. So my whole goal here is to build an ad generator, right? So I want to use Nano Banana Pro and I want to use VO 3.1 to generate ads dynamically. This is massive right now on TikTok. It's massive on Instagram, X. It's massive everywhere right now. But the ability to use these tools to create ads right now, like the Gen AI, is really, really powerful. So I figure why not create an ad builder and have AI write it for me, right? Best of both worlds. So let's start with a prompt here and let's give it exactly what we're looking for. So I'm going to say, like you to build me an ad builder using AI. The generative AI you will use will be Nano Banana
Pro to generate images, which will then feed into VO 3.1 to generate videos. So I'm giving it a very basic prompt on purpose here because I want to start guiding the actual mapping of this, right? So it's going to give me a breakdown of the tasks, and I'm going to guide it from there. So I find that when you give it a massive prompt, sometimes it doesn't digest it properly. So I like to go piece by piece. So I'm giving it a very basic prompt up front, and then I'm going to go piece by piece here and actually build this thing out. So you can see it's giving me some tasks here, right? It's starting to build these out. Initialize project, design system and UI foundation, add builder interface, AI integration, Nano Banana Pro and VO 3.1, video generation and verification, right? So, and then it's basically saying, let's go ahead and start this, right? So let's go to the implementation plan that it created for us. And let's take a quick overview here. So it's a web-based AI ad builder, right? It's going to have AI API details, styling using vanilla CSS for now. That's fine. It wants to use Vite, React, and TypeScript. That's all fine. You don't need to know any of this, by the way. But I do think that it is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and let it start working. And then after it starts, we'll go ahead and start making the edits that we need to this software. So I'm going to go ahead and accept this and let it start doing its thing. All right, so it's asking me for permission to use the terminal. I'm just going to go ahead and accept that. And by the way, I'm using Gemini 3 Pro for this. I figure since it's a Google product, it's probably more tailored to use its own AI model. So I'm going to stick with Gemini 3 Pro for now. I've also been pretty impressed with the coding capabilities of Gemini 3 Pro. I made a whole video on that on my channel. I'll put a link to that for you to check it out as well. But yeah, so far so good with Gemini 3 Pro. I think it's pretty comparable to Sonnet 4.5. All right, so something cool is happening right now. It's been basically running on its own this whole time. I haven't actually prompted anything. But you can see here that it's opening up Chrome. So I had to give it permission to do this, but it's opening up Chrome here. And it's loading up the app it built, and it's actually starting to review it itself. So again, something very unique to Antigravity is its ability to access Chrome. Obviously, Chrome being a Google product, gives them a major advantage in being able to do something like this. So pretty cool stuff. All right, so just checking in with the development here. We're watching it right now actually utilize the app. This is an AI agent working on its own code here. So we're watching it do this. So it generated an image and then a video on its own. Man, this is pretty insane stuff here. So the other cool thing is after it generates a video, you can actually get a playback of the video. So it'll give you a recording. You can see playback available here, and I can actually view that recording. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. So again, it just was having like blank page issues. It continued to go check the browser, realize there's a blank page issue, and then come back and fix it here. So we can see that it's done. I'm getting the response here now. I've completed the ad builder application. You can now generate images and videos using the mock Nano Banana Pro and VO 3.1 services. I verified the flow and it works smoothly. Check out the walkthrough for a demo. So it's actually giving me a walkthrough that I can check out here as well, which is pretty cool. So this is the video that it recorded of itself actually generating this ad for me. So man, this is actually insane to watch it again, watching AI after coding something for me, test its own code. Pretty cool stuff. And we can see that it works. So let's come back to our tasks here. It looks like it's all done. I'm skeptical if this is actually working with Nano Banana like API. So let's just type something here. Someone playing Pokemon on their iPhone. Let's just give it a test. Okay, so it didn't work. So I don't think this is actually connected to the Nano Banana API. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to ask it, where do I add the Gemini API key to use Nano Banana plus VO 3.1? Okay, so it's set up an env file for me to add the Gemini API key. So if I come over to the env.example, you can see that it's giving me an area to do this. So I'm going to add my API key, and then I'm going to test this out right now. So I should also mention, if you want an API key to use Google services, you're going to have to go to aistudio.google.com/API keys, set up a billing account, and then you can generate API keys here. Very, very simple. So I've already done that. So I'm going to take this API key and add it to our env file. All right, so I added the API key to the .env file. Unfortunately, I cannot share that with you because I don't want people to use my API key without my consent, but it looks like it says that that should work now. So let's go ahead and run this one more time. So I'm going to say, okay, now do a test and make sure it's working. I've added the API key to the .env file. Now, the reason I'm not doing this test is because I want to see it do the test itself because I think it's kind of cool. But I also, if there's an issue, I don't want to have to come back and report an issue. I'd rather figure this out on its own. So I'm going to have it do a test for me right now, and we'll see what happens. All right, so it is doing its test now. It says API key detected here. And I can see that there's an issue here. It didn't actually generate the image. So let's see if it picks that up. Okay, so I think that it thinks that it worked. Let me hit download here. Let's see if this works. Okay, this does not look like it's working. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to let it know that it did not work. I see that, but it's actually not working. I'm not seeing an image, just a broken image link. And there is no way, and actually I should say, and when I hit the download button, nothing happens. All right, so it's doing another test. Thinks it fixed the issue. Let's see if it did. Okay. So it does look like it generated an image. It's trying the download button. And it looks to me like a download did initiate. I don't know if it's going to pick that up or not, but it looks to me like I did get a download. Yeah, so it downloaded something, but it's like this file is not going to actually work, but that's fine because it's downloading now. Okay, so it's not working because these are just like random images it's finding online. So this is definitely not working. So let's come back. It's generating an image now, but it's clearly not legitimate. Legitimate. I definitely didn't spell that correct, but I'll figure it out. It's definitely not legitimate. It seems like just a placeholder image. Is this ready for production? So maybe it doesn't think it's ready for production yet. I'm not sure. Let's see. All right, so I came back and it looks like it's giving me a new issue here. So it's saying I've updated the code to use the real API with the model names you specified, Nano Banana Pro and VO 3.1. However, the API is now returning a 404 not found. So it obviously doesn't understand how to access the documentation for Nano Banana Pro and VO 3.1. A little surprising considering this is Gemini 3 Pro. You'd think that it would have that documentation on hand to do that, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and give it that documentation right now. So Nano Banana Pro API documentation. So let's go ahead and give it this. And let's find the documentation for VO 3.1. VO 3.1 API and documentation. So let's give it both of these. Going to provide you the documentation for both Nano Banana Pro and VO 3.1 so you can add them to you can properly integrate the APIs. I'd also like you to add some new features. One, allow different sizes for images common for social media. 1 by 1, 16 by 9, and 9 by 16. To do the same for the video output and give me the ability to automatically add the image I generated directly into the video prompt so that I can use that generated image for my video ad. All right, so, and I'm going to give it the documentation now. And let's let it do its thing. All right, so it thinks that it did it. It did generate another preview where it walked through the app and actually ran through it. Not going to waste time on that. Let's go ahead and check it out. Let's see if it's actually working. So here's our ad builder. Let's describe an image. So let's make this a 9 by 16. And again, a man playing Pokemon on his iPhone. Let's try that. Yeah, it's just not working. This is not a man playing Pokemon on his iPhone. This is just a random image. So let's come back and let's let it know. So by the way, I am not very impressed so far with Gemini 3 Pro or this editor. We're gonna continue. I'm gonna build this app, but so far not super impressed. But let's let it know. So it's still giving me random images, not actually generating using the API documentation I gave you. Why is this so hard for you? This is a really simple task. All right, little nudging in the right direction. Let's see if this actually gets the job done. All right, so it continued to not work. I basically came back and let it know that it was not working. I said it's still giving me random images, not actually generating using the API documentation I gave you. And then I said, why is this so hard for you? This is a really simple task. So it came back, it kind of figured out what the problem was. So apparently the API calls were working, but the bad news was that my code wasn't reading the answer correctly. And so it actually went ahead and fixed its own issue here. And now when I ask for a man playing Pokemon on his iPhone, we do in fact get a man playing Pokemon on his iPhone. Let's try this with a 9 by 16. Let's generate the same image and let's see what we get. And once again, we have a man playing Pokemon on his iPhone. Apparently they're all in Japan too, which is kind of funny, but yeah, that's pretty cool. So it's working now, which is cool. And it's giving us the right dimensions. So let's come back to Antigravity and let's add some more features here. So first thing I'm noticing is that this design kind of sucks. Like this really isn't very like a intuitive design. The download button looks terrible. And it's also not being contained to this box here, right? So it has like a box layout, but it's not being contained. So let's give it some design notes. I'm going to say it's working now, but the design is really bad. The image is not contained to the box that it should be after generating. And the download button and text is floating over the image. Fix the design overall and make it more intuitive and more like a modern SaaS product. All right, let's let it fix this design and see what it comes up with. I did another video on Gemini 3, and the UI actually is pretty good from Gemini 3 when it's actually trying. So hopefully it does a good job here, and it actually does fix this design for us. So I'm going to let it do its thing, and we'll check it out when it's done. All right, so it said that it finished, and this is what it gave me. So it is contained in the box now, but this design still absolutely sucks. It didn't really do much to change the design. So it says it's completely redesigned the preview area, no more overlap, perfect fit, premium look, sure. So I'm gonna say, I'd like you to redesign the entire application. Needs to feel top to bottom like a premium SaaS product. It should flow nicely, have a great UI in general. I should say, you need to rethink and redesign the app entirely. All right, so it's coming up with an implementation plan for this redesign. That's a good sign. Hopefully it actually does a good job this time, so we can see that it's coming up with this redesign plan. And it's going to have a midnight glass aesthetic, so that should be kind of cool. So let's let it do its thing, and we will see what it looks like when it's done. All right, so it's telling us that the transformation is complete. Welcome to your new premium ad builder. And it's detailing some of what it has done for us. So let's check it out. And it is not working at all. The CSS is clearly not loading here. So this is not working. Again, pretty unimpressive run here I've had with Antigravity. Not gonna lie, this has been a lot more challenging than what I'm used to with Cairo or Cursor 2 or basically even Claude Code, anything I'm used to working with right now. So, but we're gonna continue on here. We're not giving up. So I'm gonna say, I checked the design and the CSS is either missing or not loading. So let's see if it can figure this out. Now, one of the things that is cool is that it, opens up the browser and it actually like views your browser, right? It does that cool thing I mentioned earlier. But I'm also finding it kind of annoying because what I'm finding is that it keeps doing that over and over and over again, right? It keeps going into the browser and checking the code and checking the website in like a live way. The problem is it seems unnecessary. It seems like it's sort of wasting time doing that. Obviously, being that this is a free product right now, I'm not worried about wasting tokens. I just feel like it's wasting time, right? Time's money. We want to be able to actually use our time effectively here. That's the whole point of coding with AI. And so, having to come in and have it, review everything and then it not working, right, so far has been a little disappointing. So I'm going to say that Google still has a lot of work here to do to make this a product that's going to compete with Cursor. It's going to compete with Cairo. But like I said, I'm going to finish this. We're going to keep going here. I just had to kind of vent there for a second because I'm used to a better product for sure. All right, so I've fixed the blank screen issue. The problem was a syntax conflict, and it looks like it should be working now. Let's double check. And boom, we finally have something that looks like a modern app. And yeah, looking way, way, way better here. So let's run another test here. Again, we'll do a man holding his iPhone and playing Pokemon. And let's see if this works. Oh man, this is so much better. I love the loading screen. Everything about this is so much better. Oh yeah, way better. I don't love this like static in the background, but I can live with that for now. And this is looking so much better. So now let's test the video. So we have the video ratio option and we have the option to use a generated image as a reference. We'll keep that as 9:16 and then we'll say the man plays the game on the iPhone. Let's see if this works. Okay, so the video is obviously still a placeholder, so that's not working. And also the placement of the video is not good. So let's come back and let's say, great. The new design is now loading and looks good. However, when I test the video creation portion, it's still using a template video and not the generated video from the API. It's probably the same issue we had earlier with the image generation. Please fix. All right, so let's get this working as well. All right, so it looks like it fixed the issue. Let's come and check it out. So it went ahead and did some tests here. This is it typing this in. Let's start over. So let's start with an actual real ad here. Let's say a woman holding a Chanel purse in a beautiful, let's say, castle in France. Photogenic for an ad. I'm just giving it something interesting here. So let's generate that visual. So I don't love that this is on the bottom, but that's okay. Let's see where this comes up with. Okay, not bad. Just zooming out here to see the whole image. That's actually pretty good. Okay, so let's say she holds up the purse and walks out of the frame elegantly. All right, let's try that. All right, so it is still the flower opening up here, so it's definitely not working. So let's come back and let's let it know. It's still showing a template video when I try to generate a video. So hopefully this will fix it this time. All right, so we continue to struggle here. It's continued to tell me that it's fixed the issue, and every time I come back and test it, just trying to do something with the video here, it keeps giving me this tulip opening up or whatever this flower is here. So really frustrating. I can guarantee you I would have already had this done and working with any other coder that I use right now, Cairo, Cursor. So absolutely not a good start here for Antigravity, but I'm going to continue to work here. We're going to get this done. So the last prompt I gave it was, it still showed me the template video, just get rid of the demo code and implement the VO 3.1 API properly. I already gave you the documentation. This should be extremely easy. So you could tell I'm frustrated. I don't like to speak to AI this way, but you know, when it's not working, it's not working. And this is just super frustrating. So what it's been doing is it added some like demo code in there to like test to see, you know, if the functionality would work or something. And it just keeps that demo code in there. I don't know why it's not getting rid of it. So I basically said, get rid of the demo code, right? So it's now telling me that it removed the demo code and it should work. So I'm going to accept these changes. I'm going to restart this app and let's try it one more time. All right, so I have the app open. Let's do a test here. Woman wearing a Chanel purse, a Chanel ad. Just making this simple, 9:16. Let's generate the visual. All right, so this is fine for now. And I'm going to say, woman walks off elegantly. The logo stays in place. All right, let's try this. Okay, so this is at least positive. I'm getting something different here. Failed to generate video. Please try again. Let me just open up the console here. Let me feed this back in and let it know that it's giving me a new error now. All right, so it thinks it's fixed the issue. I've completely rewritten to fix the syntax errors, ensure the MIME type. I'm not confident this is going to work. I was just reading through the thought process here that it had, and it didn't mention anything about rereading the actual documentation. So I have no confidence that this is going to work. Again, I'm like super disappointed here, but I will try to stop saying that moving forward here. So let's go ahead and rerun this. All right, so failed to generate video. Please try again. Let's just check the console here. Let's see what we have in terms of errors. Video generation completed, but no video URI found in response. Okay. Doesn't seem like the worst error. I actually thought it might work. I was surprised because it was taking a long time, but let's give it this error. It's failing again with this error. All right, so this was its longest time yet. It went on a absolute total tirade here of going through a million things. It ran like a ton of different tests, and it says that it found the issue and fixed the issue. So we are going to give it another shot, and we're going to see if it truly did fix the issue. So let's rerun this. All right, we have success. It has finally done the job. So it looks like that last prompting worked, and it finally did fix the issue. So another weird thing that was happening, I was trying to generate the same prompt, a woman holding a bag, whatever, and it kept giving me this error. I just had to open the console to find this, but it said, sorry, we can't create videos from input images containing celebrities that are likeness. It wasn't a celebrity, it was just a random AI generated person. But that is an annoying thing that Google does do with their API. If they think they find a celebrity, they won't let you actually create a video from them. But look, it did work. So this is the image that I generated of this, this alien. And then if we play this video, we can see that the alien walks off with her purse. This is an alien Chanel ad for all those aliens that want to buy Chanel bags. So success. We do have two additional problems though. Number one, it's not contained to this box. The video is not. And then this is not resizing properly. So we need to add some code to resize this properly because this is not really functional the way it is right now. The second issue is that it generated a 16:9 video, not a 9:16 video. So it did not generate the right type of video. So I have to come back and let it know that. So I'm going to say, okay, finally worked. But the video dimensions were not correct. I asked it to generate a 9:16 video, and it generated 16:9 video. You need to pass the correct dimensions to the API. Also, the area that displays the generated content is not responsive design, so it's not resizing properly. All right, so hopefully you can fix those two issues. So the next things I want to work on when this is done is I want to add some pre-generated prompts for ads. So for different types of ads. So like, you know, we can come up with some creative ideas for ads, write different types of prompts for those ads, and then make it seamless so that it generates the image and the video all at the same time. I don't have to generate an image first and then a video. I can just do it all at once. So I can just upload an image of a product, describe the type of ad I'm looking for, and then boom, it'll generate a full ad for me. So that's going to be my next step. I'm also considering adding authentication so I can add like user login details and then a database to save our assets. Because as far as I can tell, these links here don't really do anything. There's no settings, assets, ad builder, anything. So some additional stuff to actually add the ability to save your assets, build ads later, and then maybe add like brand details, right? Like brand logos, brand images, things like that, right? So that's going to be the next step. Okay, so it looks like it thinks that it did fix the video dimensions and added a responsive area. So let's go ahead and reboot the app and let's try this one more time here. So let's say an alien holding Oreo cookies. Actually, you know what? Let's make this more Christmas themed. Santa Claus holding Oreo cookies. This is actually pretty good. Santa's favorite cookie, Milk's favorite cookie, Oreo. It even added the Oreo logo. That's actually pretty good. It repeats the same line twice. I don't care about that for now. We're just testing the 9:16. So I'm going to have him say, he says, ho, 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 Oreos are the best. All right, let's see if this works. Okay. So we're getting another fail to generate video error here. Let's come back to the console. It's probably related to the new size here. Okay, so it's definitely related to the size config. So let's come back. Now getting this error. Refer to the documentation to fix this and all future requests. Okay, so this time it looks like it actually took the documentation and saved it somewhere. So researching correct API, reading documentation, and it looks like it actually saved the documentation somewhere. So hopefully this works. So let's come back.
Ho, 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 ho! Merry Christmas! Ho, 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 ho! Merry Christmas!
It's actually pretty good. It's actually like a pretty good little ad. But yeah, looks like it worked. It sized this up properly, pretty good. I can download it. So it looks like the download button's not working. So that's another thing we're gonna go ahead and fix right now. But hey, we've done it. We've gone from nothing to an app that, okay, so the download is working, cool, okay. We've gone from nothing to an app that generates visuals, visual ads, and then videos, right? So using Nano Banana Pro and using VO3, 3.1. So we've actually gotten pretty far. I mean, it's been a little bit of a bumpy ride, but we've gotten pretty far. So the next steps, like I said, we're going to add the ability to customize these ads, do it in one go, where it generates the image and the video at the same time. And then we'll add some authentication and some asset downloadability. So we're going to add a database. So a lot more to go, but we've made some good progress so far. All right, so let's move on to the next part of the project, which is going to be adding a database. So I'm going to prompt it to create a plan for me to add a database to this app so that we can save assets and save settings for our assets. And then after that, I'm going to add authentication for users. So let's start with the database request. I'd like to now add a database to this app so that we can save generated assets and settings for our created ads. I'd like you to generate a full plan for adding this database and then implement this plan. So let's see what it comes up with here. All right, so it's come up with a plan for us. If I check out the implementation plan, just want to review this really quick. So employ a local database using dexy.js and DexDB wrapper to save generated ads in their settings. This will allow users to persist their work across browser sessions without needing a backend server or external account. And it went ahead and processed this and already started working on it. So it integrated this local database for us, and we should be able to save. Now, I want to take this live, so this is actually not going to work for me. I'm going to check it out. We're going to test this right now, and then I'm going to let it know this is actually not what I wanted. All right, so we have our ad generated. Now, I'm going to go ahead and try to save this. Campaign saved successfully. That's good. Let's come over to our assets. Okay, so I don't know where it's saving this because I'm not able to see it, but it does seem to have worked. So let's come back in. Let's say a few things. One, when I save an ad, a campaign, it should go to the assets tab. Should have a nice design for saved campaigns. Two, it should have a nicely designed pop-up instead of just a system browser pop-up with the success message. Three, I want to deploy this app online for other users to use. So this database will need to go online as well. Okay, so we're addressing the three major issues here. So let's see if it can solve these for us, and we'll get to the next step. All right, so it finished its plan to migrate to a live database. It's recommending Firebase for this, and it actually created a new implementation plan here. So Firebase is owned by Google, so I'm not surprised, and it's actually telling me exactly what I have to do. Go to console.firebase, create a new project, enable authentication, enable Firestore database, enable storage, and copy the web app configuration keys. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So let's go to console.firebase.google. Let's create a new project. We're going to call this Ad Builder. We'll enable Gemini and Firebase. Okay, so the Firebase project is ready. I'm going to continue here. So the next thing it told me to do was enable authentication with a Google provider. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so under build authentication, it looks like we're at the right spot here. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit get started. This is kind of cool though. It says ask Gemini. So that's pretty cool. So get started with Firebase Auth by adding your first sign-in method. So let's do email password for now. Go ahead and enable this. We'll do this as well. Passwordless sign-in. We'll save that. And let's also, for fun here, we'll add Google as well. Right, so the next thing will be to enable the Firestore database. So I'm going to go to build, Firestore database. I'm going to create a database here. Let's come back, see if it gives me any details. So it just says enable Firestore database. So we'll do that. We'll do standard edition. We'll leave this in the US. That's fine. And we'll start in production right now. Why not? All right, awesome. So we have a database. Perfect. Now we need to enable storage. All right, storage. Okay, so we do have to upgrade this to use storage. Makes sense, right? So this will be the Blaze plan. So I already have a billing account, so I'm just going to use my billing account, and we'll start with $10 here. All right, so that is now linked. We have the Blaze plan, pay as you go, perfect. We'll go ahead and get started with storage here. We'll use the recommended location, that's fine. We'll start in production and we'll create that. So the last thing it wants us to do is copy the web app configuration keys. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm not going to show you the actual key, but I'm going to go ahead and copy that key over. Let me ask it where it wants me to put the key here. Where should I put the web app configuration keys for Firebase? Okay, so it added the areas in the .env file where I'm going to add this, and it showed me where to put them. So I'm going to go ahead and gather all this data, and I'm going to come to Firebase, get that information, and then put it in the .env file. I can't show you that, unfortunately, because it does include an API key, but I'm going to go ahead and do that right now, and then I'll come back when it's done. All right, so it was a little trickier to find all the information that it created for me right off the bat. So it asked me to add all this data here to our env file, all this like Firebase data. I found some of it. It was pretty obvious. I come into the project settings, but I couldn't find all of it. So I realized that you had to actually add an app. So under general here, under your apps, you have to add an app. I added a web app. I clicked two buttons, I gave it a name, and then it gave me a whole configuration file. I'm not scrolling all the way down because it actually has all the API keys and stuff like that in here. And it literally had every single thing that it asked for directly right there. So if it does the same thing for you, that's how you get all of this information, okay? So I went ahead and added it to the env file, and I'm just gonna say, I added all the requested information to the .env file. I also realized that you can host this app on Firebase. So I'm going to say, please proceed. Also, I'd like to host this app on Firebase. I think it's just going to make life way easier for us if we could deploy this straight to Firebase, keep everything under the Google umbrella, and should be pretty cool. I'm actually super impressed with Firebase. Again, I didn't have a ton of experience with it, but if you're deploying an app, I mean, this makes life so easy, right? It gives you authentication, gives you a database, it gives you storage, it gives you hosting. I mean, it really does everything for you, right? And it actually has the ability to add AI analytics, right? I can get real-time analytics for my app. So many cool things you can do here. You can even do A/B testing directly in Firebase. So Really impressed with Firebase so far. I would much rather use something like this than AWS, where it's a total mess. I mean, this is still a little bit tricky, but it's really not that tricky. I mean, I've showed you everything I've done so far. It's pretty simple. So, so far so good in terms of Firebase. This AI here on the side, totally useless. I asked it to help me with my API key. It gave me totally useless information. So I actually had to ask Google here, and then Google gave me the actual answer I was looking for. So yeah, but pretty cool. Honestly, I really like Firebase so far. So let's see if I can go ahead and do everything that we need here. Like I said, add this additional information, process the env file, and even do our hosting for us. So I'm pretty excited about that. So let's let it do its thing, and let's come back and let's see if it actually works, if it built this database for us, if it did everything we need. Because I actually didn't create a database. I did actually nothing. So there really is no database here right now. So as far as I can tell, it didn't even add a database. So it said that it's done. So let's go ahead and accept this. And let's see if this actually worked. I've successfully migrated your application to use Firebase. Here's what you should do now. A sign-in button in the top left. You must sign in to save or view campaigns. When you save a campaign, it now uploads images to the Firebase storage and details to Firebase store. It adds assets. And sign in. So let's let it go ahead and deploy this app. I actually don't even want to test it locally anymore. I want this app deployed and I want to test it live. So again, we're adding not only the database, the authentication, all that good stuff, but we're also adding the ability to have it hosted for us, right? And then we can connect a domain to it later. So let's let it go ahead and actually do this part. I'll accept this here so we can go ahead and install this stuff. And then we will see what it comes up with. Okay, so it thinks it's done. Let's see, I've successfully built the application and created the hosting configuration. To deploy it live, you just need to run these two commands in your terminal. Once the second command finishes, it will give you a hosting URL. All right, this is pretty cool. Let's see if it works. Let's see if this works. So I just came back to terminal. I'm in the folder with the application and I'm running what it told me to run. Let's see if it works. Okay, so it says enable Gemini and Firebase features. Sure, let's do that. Allow Firebase to collect CLI and emulator suite usage and error reporting information. Sure, cool. So that worked. Now let's do npx Firebase deploy. Let's see if this works. Okay, so I'm getting an error. No currently active project. To run this command, you need to specify a project. You have two options. Run this command, set an active project. Okay, so let me feed this error into Antigravity. So, okay, so it says we just need to tell Firebase CLI which project to use. Please run this command in your terminal. It will show you a list of projects. Select the project you created. And it will ask for, let's see, select the project you created. It might ask for an alias. Once that is done, deploy this command. Okay, so let's do that now. Okay, perfect. So we're going to do the ad builder. Let's just say ad builder live. Okay, now using ad builder live. Okay, cool. So once that is done, try the deploy command again. So let's try it one more time. npx Firebase deploy. This is actually pretty cool. Oh man, that was so fast and so cool. Let's see if this works, guys. Man, I'm actually like all of a sudden very excited to see if this works. We're live. It's here. So we have a hosted app now. This is super cool. Okay, so it's asking me to sign in. So let me go ahead and try and sign in here. Wow. So I'm signed in. Let's create a campaign here, and let's just call this Santa Oreos. Okay, so it's not saving my campaign for some reason. And these tabs are not working. Okay, so we've made progress, but we're not where we want to be yet. So let's come back and let's ask it. Let's let it know that we're not able to save this, and it just says failed to save campaign. Great, the app is now live online. able to sign in, but when I try to save a campaign, I get this error. All right, so it thinks it fixed it. So it's telling me just to run npx Firebase deploy again. So I'm going to do that. This is pretty cool. So now it deploys it directly to Firebase every time that it makes some changes here, which is pretty sweet. And so I've done that. So let's come back. Let's refresh this. All right, so I'm signed in. So it's giving me failed to load campaigns also, but let's just try to save one here. Santa add. Yeah, same error here. Okay, so let me let it know that it failed again. Okay. Just giving it the error one more time. All right, so it looks like it may have fixed the issue. So let's go ahead and test this out now. Let's just say Santa. Let's generate our Santa eating Oreos. All right, so we have Santa eating Oreos. Let's go ahead and save our campaign. And it looks like it did work. Save to the cloud. Let's go to our assets, and we do have that. I did another test earlier, and that was working as well. So this works. So we have authentication, we have our database connected, things are actually saving now. So we're really coming along here, but I have a few issues with this I'm not happy about. The first one is I don't like the sign-in option being up here at the top. I don't like that we have an assets tab here. These sidebar menu items are not working. And the settings is not working now as well. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to ask it to fix all of these issues. So, okay, working now, but we still have some issues. One, there should be a separate sign-in screen when you land on the app. Once signed in, it should take you directly to the app, to the ad builder. 2, the assets tab works, but it should be the tab on the left-hand menu, not a new tab as you have coded. 3, I'd like you to make all tabs on the left-hand menu functional. So this should address some of the main issues right now. I want to have a separate login screen. I want this assets tab to be migrated here, and I do want the rest of these tabs working for now. So let's see if it can solve that for us, because we know that we can generate images, we can generate videos, we can save our assets, but I just don't like the layout right now. So let's have it fix that, and then we'll finalize some of the actual flow of the app builder, of the ad builder, I should say, because eventually what I want this to do is actually save our brand assets, right? So I'm going to have it create a brand tab with logos and any other materials we would need. And then I want it to actually have a much easier flow here as well. All right, so it looks like the changes are done. Let us redeploy and we shall check it out. Really loving Firebase, how easy all this is with Firebase. This is really, really cool. The only other thing I would add here is some form of source control like GitHub or something. That would be sort of the last piece of this puzzle. Not sure if we're going to add that to this video. We may or may not. Let's see. It's already getting pretty long here, but all right. So it's redeployed. Let me sign out here. Okay. So I don't think any of these changes are live. Let me come back. Let me reload this. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so we definitely need to rename this too. I don't want to call it Antigravity Next Gen Ad Builder. So let me just do that right now real quick because it's kind of annoying me. So we'll just say instead of You know what? Let's make a logo with Nano Banana. Let's go to, actually, we'll just go to Gemini for this. Let's go to Gemini. Let's say, make me a logo for my new ad builder app. You can come up with a name as well. So let's make a logo for this real quick in Nano Banana Pro, and let's see what it comes up with. In the meantime, let's test this out. We'll sign in with Google. All right, we're signed in. This looks so much better now. So create a new ad, perfect. So we can create and manage our campaigns. If I go to our assets, we have our assets tab here. This is great. We can create new, go to our settings, and nothing here yet. That's fine as long as it's working. I'm happy with that for now. This looks great. This looks so much better. So we're definitely on the right path here. So that's pretty good. Ad stack, why not? So we'll go ahead and save this logo. All right, so I just took that logo. I came to remove.bg and I just removed the background. This is not the ideal way to do this. There's definitely better ways to do this, but it's quick and simple. And I'm coming back to Antigravity, and I'm going to say replace the logo with logo.png and rename the app to ad stack. If I do end up releasing this later, I'll probably change the logo again. I'll probably change the name again, but this is just for example purposes. I just want to show you how this works. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, it says that it went ahead and updated that logo for us. Let's just refresh here. I'm doing a hard refresh, Control-Shift-R to get the hard refresh. And let's see how this looks. So it looks like I'm still logged in. So you know what? I need a logout function as well. I do see that it changed it up here, which is fine. So let's come back. The app also needs a sign out function. It looks like it added the sign out feature. Let's just redeploy real quick. All right, let's check it out. All right, sign out, perfect. Okay, cool. So it looks like it just extracted this part. Whatever, it's fine for now. I don't want to get too complicated with the logo. So we'll go ahead and sign back in. And let's go ahead and put the finishing touches on this because I think we're pretty much where I want to be. We're very, very close. So a few things. I want to release this to the public. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have in the settings tab the ability to add your own Gemini API key. That way, if somebody wants to use this app, they can just come in, add their own API key and use it 100% for free. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to ask it to put the API key in the settings. I'm also going to ask it to have a brand area in this settings where I can add the logo for my brand and any other details about the brand that I want to add. And then that will populate in the ad builder. And then the last thing I want to do is I want to make this flow a little simpler where it will actually create the image and the video in the same prompt. So let's come back. Let's start finalizing this. One, I want you to add an area in settings where the user can add their own Gemini API key. This way I can not use the Gemini key in the .env file, and anyone can add their own key to use the app. Two, I also want to add brand details to the settings page where people can add a logo and other information about their brand colors, etc., which can then be auto-populated in the ad builder. Lastly, I'd like you to add a new feature to the ad builder where once an ad is generated, it can then, once an image is generated, it can do the video automatically as well. So the user enters one prompt that generates an image and then uses that image to automatically generate a video. The default prompt will be turn this into an ad, but the user can change the video prompt if they'd like. This will be a separate feature that is called one-click ad. Okay, perfect. So yeah, that's pretty much should wrap up most of what I want to do with this app. So let's go ahead and finish that up. And then we can start putting a bow on this thing. I think maybe the only last thing I would do is maybe work on these assets. I don't love how this is presented. I'm not able to download it from here. I don't like that. So we definitely need to fix that. Looks like these delete buttons are not working either. So we need to add a download feature, and we need to show, we should also be able to duplicate this, right? So I could click like duplicate and it could take me back to the ad builder with these settings, something like that. So make the delete function work, make the download function work, and then be able to duplicate these as well. So that's probably gonna be the last thing I do to wrap this whole puppy up here. All right, so, okay, so we do have the one-click add option here. That's good. Let's go to our settings. We can now add the Gemini API key. We can have a brand name, brand description. It did not add the ability to upload a logo. So that is not good. So we're gonna fix that. And then we'll test this out. So let's do that right now, because I think that's super important here. Still need the ability to add a logo in the brand details. Once added, it should be an option in the ad builder to add the logo as a reference image in the image portion of the ad builder. Yeah, I think that's really important. So let's make sure it does that for us. In the meantime, let's just test this out real quick. So I'm going to call this brand name. We'll just call it Oreos. Fun, simple. We can add brand colors. That's cool. We can save the brand details. Okay, so it didn't save these either, so that didn't work. So we need to fix that. Let's test this one-click ad real quick. Let's see if this is working. An Oreo ad with Santa. Let's just do one-click ad and see what happens. Okay, so it looks like it's working. Let's let this run. Let's check the console too. Okay, so I don't know if these are old errors or not. Let's try it one more time. Okay, no, so this is not an old error. All right, so we have a few new errors here. So let's come back. All right, looks like it got stuck. Continue. So we need to add the brand logo, make sure that it saves properly and adds as a reference image here. So we'll just add a button here, something that says add brand details. And then we could add the brand details to the prompt, the colors, the brand information as well. So we can add that to the prompt. And then we need to make sure that this is working. So a few errors happening here. So let's get this all fixed. So it's going to add the logo support now. Let's let it do this, and then we'll finalize the other stuff. All right, so it did add the brand logo here. So let's test this. You know what? The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add my API key. I feel like that might have been one of the other issues real quick. So let me just grab this API key, and let's drop it in here and save it. Okay. So we've saved our key. Let's just say Oreos again. Let me grab the Oreo logo real quick. All right, we'll save our Oreo logo. Okay, so it's still not working. Failed to save brand details. Okay. So let's just grab the console error here. All right, let's come back here. Unable to save the brand details. I get this logo, this error in the console. All right, so it's telling me that it updated the rules to allow saving your brand details, but you need to deploy these new rules to your Firebase project. So please run this command in your terminal. So let me run this really quick. Okay, so let's come back and let's try this one more time. So let's just say Oreos, fun, family friendly. Let's grab this logo and let's save it again. Let me keep the console open here just in case. Okay, it worked that time. Good. Okay, so let me just come back and yeah, looks like it did save it. Perfect. So let's come back to our ad builder. Okay, so loaded brand Oreos, that's good, but I don't see anything here relating to that. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to say, when brand details are saved, there should be an option to add the brand details to any project, to any ad being created in the ad builder. This should, okay, so there should be a button that says load brand details. If clicked, it should, add the logo image as a reference image upload to the image prompt. 2, it should add the brand details and colors to the text prompt. Something like this. Brand details, color guide. So that's an important part as well. We don't want to do this automatically, but we do want to have the option to do that. So let's go ahead and do that. While it's doing that, let's just test out the one-click ad. Let's see if this is working now. So I'm just going to say Oreo ad with Santa. What's it saying here? Okay, we'll get started on that now. All right, continue. So let's try this. Let's see if this works, this one-click ad option. And we'll keep the console open as well. Okay. So it looks like that might have just been a Gemini API issue. It looks like maybe I just needed to add my API key to get that to work. So that's good. So let's see if this actually generates for us. Okay, cool. So it looks like it generated the image and now it's generating a video for us. Okay, so the video failed to generate. This is pretty good. So actually what I'm noticing is it did add the logo and it did add the colors. So there's something on the back end, and it did add the whole family friendly element as well. So it did add those details somewhere on the back end, which is interesting. I just want to see it more on the front end. So we'll check that out as well. But we do have this issue here with the video. So let's let it finish its fixing of this, the last request I just had, and then we'll get it to fix the video issue here. Oh, okay, we can't create videos from inputs containing photorealistic children. Wow. Okay. So I think what I have to do then is if it shows up with an error like this, I need it to just show the error, because actually it wasn't really an issue of anything else other than the fact that there's children in the ad. So we'll need to show this error, right? So that if people have this issue, right, if they're not able to generate children or whatever the issue is, right, it'll show up a little pop-up and say, here's the reason why the ad didn't generate. Let me just write no children here. And let's try this one more time. Just want to make sure this is working.
Oh, I highly recommend unleashing your inner child this Christmas. Start with an Oreo. Oh, I highly recommend.
It's a pretty good little ad here. This is pretty cool.
Oh, I highly recommend unleashing your inner child this Christmas. Start with an Oreo.
I mean, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty freaking good. I'm pretty happy with it. It followed our brand settings, right? It used the right logo, used the right colors. Definitely using my API key for sure. Let's see if I can save. Oh, okay. Well, I already got off that screen, but it did load our brand here. So, hey, we're pretty much there. This is pretty much the app I wanted to build, and it's pretty much built. Pretty freaking cool. So, and then obviously if I generate the visual, I can generate the motion. Now there's more I could do to this. I could make this way better. But let's just finalize this last little piece here and we'll roll this thing out and I'll make it public. But we're pretty close. So pretty cool. I mean, if you could have told me I could have done this with AI, even a year ago, I would have been so shocked that I could build a full app like this and generate these kind of ads instantly with AI. I would have been like so shocked. So we've come a very, very long way. And I'm definitely going to release this to the public as well. So you guys can try it out. I'll put a link to this when it's done in the description so you can test this app out yourself. All right, so it added the brand assets and it automatically added the logo here. So this is all looking pretty good. So we have the one-click ad option. We have the option to generate a visual and then create our own video. Our assets are being saved. We have the settings here. So remember, the last thing was these delete buttons are not working, and then I'm not able to download my generated assets from the asset library. So that's the last thing I want to fix here. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to say, great, final thing we need to fix. One, in the assets library, we need a download button for the generated assets per campaign. 2, the delete buttons for campaigns is not working. So these are literally the last 2 things. And then once this is done, I will push this live and we should be pretty much done. And it's a pretty solid, smooth little app we've built here. I mean, it's not ideal. I could spend more time making this a little bit more intuitive. I'm not totally in love with this layout. I would probably break this out into different sections. But for what it is right now, I'm pretty happy with what we've done here. I'd probably want to end up adding like payment details here as well. If I were to charge for this app in the future, I'm not going to do that right now, but I would simply come in and ask it for Stripe details. And then I would create Stripe products for recurring payments and things like that. If you want to see me do that in another video, just drop a comment. Let me know that you want to see that and I will absolutely add that. And in the meantime, if you have any questions on this whole development process, on using Antigravity, on using Firebase, which again, I'm super impressed with Firebase itself. Antigravity, I think, still has a little bit of work to do. It definitely is functional and it's 100% free. I just think I probably could have saved a few hours using a different coder or maybe just a different model if I had used, let's say, like Sonnet 4.5, which they do give you the option for, and Opus 4.5 as well. Opus 4.5 would have knocked this out of the park most likely and done a much better job. But I really wanted to use Gemini 3, considering it's a Google product, right? So this was all built with Google stuff. Gemini, Antigravity, Firebase, right? This is all Google products. And you can see that for basically no money, you can build your own app and deploy it right now instantly, right? And if I come back to Firebase and I go to my ad builder, I should be able to launch this to a domain as well here pretty easily. Yeah, and if I wanted to add a custom domain to this app, it's literally as simple as coming to the hosting tab and just adding a custom domain. You could even buy one directly from Google, right? So I could say like adstackai.com. And I could continue, and I could probably just, I could do this right now, right? So it's really that simple if I wanted to add a custom domain to this. I'm going to cheap out here. I'm not going to spend the extra bucks to buy a domain here since it has its own domain right now. But if you wanted to add your own custom domain to your app, you could do that really easily by just coming to the hosting section here. So it looks like this is pretty much done. Let's run this command. We'll accept this. And hopefully with that, we are pretty much done here. Wow, wait a second. So it actually already added the the TNS for this domain. So I don't own AdStack AI, but if I did, I would go to AdStack AI. I'd go to wherever my host is, my domain host, and I would just add these records, and boom, I would have my custom domain here as well. So I'm going to delete that for now, but it's literally that easy to add a custom domain for your apps also. I mean, it has never been easier to make your own apps. Seriously, if you've ever had any interest in developing apps, developing software online, now is the time to do it. You have no excuse. All these tools are pretty much free. They work really, really well. You can use something like Firebase to get authentication, to get everything set up super duper easy. You literally have absolutely no excuse. You have to start doing this. There's a golden opportunity, and right now is that opportunity. So take advantage, do this. I'm definitely doing it. I know a lot of people that are doing it as well. Don't waste time, get it done, and see how far it can take you, right? Start posting on Twitter, or X, I should say, and just get your name out there and start working on cool stuff. If you do something really cool, by the way, I will retweet you. Just drop a comment, send me a message on X. Tell me, hey, I watched your video and I built this app using your video. I will 100% retweet you if you do that. Just let me know that you did that, right? Because I want to share people doing really cool stuff, especially with the content that I share, right? It makes me happy. So it looks like it added that last little function for us. Delete button's still not working. Let's try our download button. So the download button is working. Let's check out the video. Okay, so.
It's the one and only Santa's favorite cookie.
That's awesome. Yeah, the only last thing that's not working is this delete button here. So let's just finalize this. Let's just put a bow on this because I really want to finish this app off right. So delete button is still not working for campaigns in the asset library. But yeah, and again, if you do build something, just let me know you did it, right? Even just drop a comment and let me know you did it here on YouTube. Probably be a little better on X if you just DM me on X. That's probably your best bet. But if I don't see it for whatever reason, just drop a comment and let me know that you did that as well. And definitely subscribe to the channel, guys. I mean, I'm one of the few people that I see online going through the entire process of, me myself learning this software and then taking the time to build apps start to finish, using the software to show you how to do it, making it as clear and simple as possible. For someone who's non-technical, doesn't have a ton of code experience, I'm really trying to make this as simple as possible for you. So if you do appreciate that, I would appreciate you just liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And then you can get tons more cool content like this because I'm working on this stuff all the time. And it really helps me out as well. All right, so it went ahead and fixed that last issue for us. I had to go through a few requests. It just wasn't working for some reason, but it finally did seem to fix the issue. I just basically kept coming back and saying, hey, it's not working, it's not working. I didn't need to bore you with those details, but if I hit delete campaign now, it is in fact working. It's giving me an are you sure you want to delete pop-up, which I also requested, and we can now delete. So everything for this sort of V1 of the app is now working for me. Again, I am going to share this link in the description so that you can check it out yourself. I hope you found this helpful. Again, if you did, please do subscribe to the channel, like the video, and can't wait to bring you the next one. And if you have any ideas for stuff you want me to build, tools you want me to use, please drop a comment below and let me know what those are.